Hey, welcome back, IB Development Economics students, to this video lecture. Today is our first video in our series of development economics videos. We're going to first be introducing the idea of economic growth versus economic development. So previously in our macroeconomics chapters, we have talked about economic growth. We have talked about the definition is when an increase in a country's output occurs. For example, when the GDP or the GNI increases. And it's important to take note that when talking about economic growth, we don't talk about the welfare and development of an economy. However, for economic development, we do consider such factors. Okay, so for economic development, we talk about measuring the country's welfare, measuring the indicators of living quality. We talk about increases in education, increases in health care sector, and in the social indicators. And the best way to look at economic development is by looking at the Human Development Index, or the HDI. So it's important to differentiate between these two terms of economic growth and economic development. Okay, so growth does not equal development. You can have economic growth, but the economy is not developing. Now, we're going to talk about why that is later. So economic growth is necessary for development. However, economic growth does not imply or necessarily mean economic development is happening. Okay. When economic growth occurs, a few things may happen. Okay, for higher incomes. Okay, of course that's very, very clear. When people have higher incomes, the economy grows. People have more disposable income. Therefore, they save more money. They also spend more money. So what happens when higher income occurs? Okay, job quality improves, and the improvement in life quality. Now, what happens when quality of life improves? Economic development improves. A reduction in poverty as a result of economic growth also causes economic growth causes higher income, which also causes the reduction of poverty. The reduction of poverty once again also causes economic development to increase. However, with higher incomes, income inequality may occur, which may not cause economic development. So this is a prime example of how economic growth causes higher income causes some income inequality, and income inequality causes economic growth to slow down. So other examples of what happens when economic growth occurs are like higher profits. With higher profits, people get to invest more into their business, into their industry. Technology improves, jobs improve. Another thing that happens when economic growth occurs is that governments have more money. When governments have more money, they get to invest in the public sector. Government spending gets to increase. So public health care may improve. Education quality may improve. More people are going to school. The illiteracy rate is decreasing. For healthcare improves, perhaps the infant mortality rate decreases, perhaps the mortality rate, life expectancy increases. So these are all connections between how global or domestic countrywide economic growth would lead to these factors, and these factors will lead to economic development. However, that is not always the case. Here are 3 examples of how economic growth may not necessarily lead to economic development. Now, first things first, income inequality. Look at China, for example. China has economic growth in the 5 percentile and 6 percentile. Very aggressive, very up to the moon economic growth. However, income distribution is very, very uneven. What do I mean by that? That's basically income, okay, is distributed in the hands of few rich people, and the common folk does not actually receive the benefits of the economic growth, and economic development does not necessarily reach them. However, there are counter arguments of trickle down economics of if the rich are benefiting, then the poor will eventually get benefited from it. Of course, that may make sense. However, in the short run, income inequality and the unfair distribution or unequal distribution of income will cause economic development to be hindered despite economic growth occurring. Another major one is negative externalities. Of course, if you loosen your environmental protection laws, such as, anti-pollution, anti-air pollution, anti-soil pollution, anti-water pollution laws, then perhaps you could push your protection possibility frontier even more, leading to greater outputs and leading to greater economic growth. However, is that sustainable? Are you meeting the needs of today while keeping the needs of tomorrow in hand? No. So this will lead to a total welfare loss in the realm of economic development despite economic growth. Okay, so because economic development concerns the welfare of not only the economy, but also of the citizens in the economy, but also of the health of the citizens and the well-being and the happiness of the citizens within the economy. Another one is the growth in one dominant sector. For example, look at Saudi Arabia. It is very heavily dominated by the oil market, the oil sector. Sure, there's economic growth, but is there economic development in a holistic sense? No. Okay. So here, this is the differentiating factor between economic growth and development. The key concept here is that growth does not equal development. However, growth is necessary for development. So I do hope this video is helpful. It is the first video in our development economics playlist. And we're going to have a total of around 12, 13, 14-ish videos going over this entire section. So I do hope you guys subscribe and like this video. If you do, leave a like and subscribe. And I hope to see you guys in the next video where we'll be talking about common characteristics of developing economy.